not a game, it's a rich thing.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blitz Sports Media. My name is Ryan Linkler, and I'm back with another off-season breakdown of another player that is available, and it's not a free agent. It's Joe Milton from the New England Patriots, second-year quarterback who has absolutely taken social media by storm with his elite arm strength and elite talents at the quarterback position. Now, we all know the story that comes with Joe Milton. He is another quarterback that happens to be drafted in the same class as Drake May, who is the future for the New England Patriots. Milton has had an interesting journey to this point. Let's take a look at his profile here. Milton is 6'5", 246 pounds. He is 25 years old. Yes, 25, which is crazy to think about. We all think he's a young buck, but Milton is actually 25 years old. He had 6 years in college. He spent 3 of those years at the University of Michigan, and then his last 3 years at the University of Tennessee, where we saw him be successful. During Michigan, wasn't necessarily great. Had a chance to start his junior year, finished with 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in 6 games as a starter. And then ultimately in Tennessee, that's where he had his success. He threw for 10 touchdowns in his redshirt junior season on 82 attempts. And then after that season, he finished with 2,813 yards and 20 touchdowns, making himself an intriguing draft prospect. Now, he went out and showed out in the combine, earned himself a 6th-round pick. And what it was in the combine is he showed his elite arm strength that mirrored the likes of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, throwing 70-yard bombs during the combine, which was nice to see, while also showcasing his touch and accuracy during those drills. With all that arm talent that he had, it earned himself a slot in the draft despite only playing 43 games in college. 44 games in college. But 44 games in college earned him a spot in the draft despite being there for 6 years. Patriots took a chance on him in the 6th round, and then we all know the story from there. Then we got the stuff in training camp, which included him outperforming and looking like the better quarterback compared to Drake May. Drake May, we all know, turned out to be a very good player and was the solid pick for the Patriots, regardless of what it was. But that just goes to show you how talented of a player that Joe Milton can be. And he honestly played pretty good in the preseason. He had moments where he was very successful, and then he showcased some of the inconsistencies that a lot of people are concerned about and why Joe Milton wasn't necessarily a surefire thing in the draft. Let's go and break down Milton's film in that big Week 18 game against the Buffalo Bills right now. Milton's first career touchdown pass in Week 18 is a great example of how talented this kid just is. I mean, there's only a certain amount of quarterbacks that can go through and make a play like this. He steps in the pocket, gets pressure, has pressure from the edge, throws across his body, finds booty for a touchdown. Let's break this down frame by frame for you guys here. Milton obviously gets a snap. Right here is his first read to the tight end. I think I want to say that is Hooper or Hunter Henry right there for you guys. I'm going to have a read right here. Honestly, a lot of quarterbacks should throw that right away. I think that's a pretty normal read for a lot of quarterbacks to wind up throwing that. Honestly, Milton looks off, looks right into pressure. Kind of shows you the rawness of the current talent of Joe Milton, but he's able to evade the pressure, roll across his body, and this is just a play we see from Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, the elite talents in the NFL, and he has 2 guys he can choose from. He is right here and right here. Milton chooses the farthest option, which leads to the biggest play, and that's why I like Milton's talent. Right here, just throws it across, and to be honest, I don't know what Rapp's just kind of lost right here. Doesn't necessarily know where his guy is. Bills had a lot of problems with that this last year, but Milton's able to find a way to get his receiver the ball and make a big play due to his elite arm strength and his ability to work within the pocket. The next play here is another play where we can see Milton's arm strength on full display, reads its zone coverage, fires an absolute missile across the middle of the field for a nice 19-yard gain. What I really like about this play, obviously the arm strength is something that pops off when watching it in full speed. Milton, at this point, has a clean pocket right here. He chooses to not change his feet, stay through the pocket, and ultimately read this zone defender right here. He knows he has zone over here. He has 2 over the top right here, right? If his guy, which is running a seam route right here, opens up, he is going to fire it using his elite arm strength, which every quarterback should do, to get a big chunk play. And that's what Milton does so well on this play. Understands his zone coverage, understands the soft spots, fires it right at this point. And I mean, this is covered right here, right? But Milton throws this more to this part of the field, and that's why it's a big gain, and his fastball allows it to fit tighter windows and get the ball into tighter spaces because he throws harder than almost everybody else in the league. Another nice play in this game from Milton here, where he is able to step up in the pocket and make a play with his legs, evading a defender, somehow catching the ball in the process. He almost fumbles, getting a nice game, which is nice to see from a rookie quarterback, understanding where he's getting pressure. And at this point, the Bills are running a stunt where he's getting here, linebacker here, you're getting a DB there, you're getting an edge there, right? Milton has to understand that the soft spot on this blitz is this hole right here, which he does a really good job of doing, which a lot of veteran quarterbacks don't even do very well, and Milton does extremely well on this play. Sees he has pressure, finds this small hole in the stunt, and is able to work through it. Johnson right here is going to try to make a play on him, breaks the arm tackle, catches the ball again. As you can see, this ball is coming out. That ball security needs to get better for our boy Joe Milton. Gets the ball back and is able to get a solid 9-yard gain, being able to understand the stunt and where to run the ball. This single play alone has caused so much hype on social media. It's out of control. This play didn't even count, but this just goes to show you the talent level Joe Milton has. We talked about his rushing ability. We talked about his elite arm strength. We talked about his fastball and reading the zone coverage. This is the play that just jumps off to you that only a handful of guys in the NFL can do. Let's play this through. Milton's got a clean pocket. Could dump it down. Gets his eyes back upfield. Rushes to the left. Offensive line holds. Avoids two defenders trying to sack him. Has the arm strength. Fires it for a touchdown. I mean, it's just absolutely nutty what this guy can do when the ball is in his hands. I mean, at this point, let's go to the clean pocket. One more frame. At this point, clean pocket, right? Down the field, there's nothing open. He does have his check down right here in Antonio Gibson, but, you know, our boy doesn't like check downs too much. Waits through it, and then at this point, this is what's nice. He's not looking to run. We see quarterbacks like Justin Fields look to run as soon as they get a little bit of pressure. He's not looking to run. His eyes are downfield trying to find another target, which is what you want to see out of your quarterback. They're there to throw the ball. That's not open. He decides to rush left, see if his receivers can open up more. He then decides for another time, let's look downfield. Let's try to find something. Who's open? Nobody's open again. Let me just make two more defenders miss. Spin moves, rolls out to his left. He sees his boy Pop Douglas, hand up in the air. Give me the ball. Give me the ball, Joe Milton. And you know what Joe Milton does? He fires a 62-mile-an-hour fastball to the end zone for a touchdown. Absolutely nutty what this guy can do. Yes, while Milton does have the elite talent and upside of some of the top-end quarterbacks of the league, sometimes he, yes, does try to do too much and use his talent too much instead of playing within the system, and that's what he did so well in Week 18 for the Patriots. Here's a play in college where he ultimately does try to do too much, and it forces himself into a decision. He rolls to the pocket right, has a running lane, decides to throw across his body, resulting in an interception on the wrong side of the field to have an interception. So what I'll say about this, right, Milton has this right here where ultimately he doesn't see anything open at this point, has a clean pocket, decides to abandon that at this point because he sees a rushing lane. What I like about this is he does see the rushing lane. Yes, go take that ball, go run over there. But sometimes Milton likes to showcase his talent a little bit too much and needs to understand the right situations when to use it, which he did show when we saw him in limited action in the NFL. Ultimately, though, decides to throw this ball, making a bad decision, and that's what we can't see from Milton that we saw too often in college, is him trying to make a superhero-type play, resulting in a lot of incompletions or throws that weren't necessarily on target. So I think with Milton settling down, trying to do less with the talent is what he needs, and that's what he had in New England. During that Week 18 game against the Bills, while they weren't necessarily playing their starters, he finished with a 79.9 completion percentage, 241 yards, a rushing touchdown, and a passing touchdown, and he earned himself one of the highest PFF grades of the season of any single player at 95.8. And after this performance, social media was buzzing. I just showed you guys some of the insane plays this guy had. He absolutely balled out, and it created the best case scenario for the New England Patriots, because he was never going to be a starter there, is he earned value in potentially a trade package. The Patriots went out and signed Josh Dobbs this past week. Dobbs is likely to operate as the team's backup with his familiarity with head coach Mike Vrabel. And the report is the Patriots are seeking a third-round pick. Now, personally, for me, that's a little bit high for Milton, but in the Patriots' minds, I mean, they struck gold. They drafted a guy in the 6th round who ultimately could return a third-round pick. That's crazy to think about. That's insane value within a year. In the Patriots' eyes, I don't think they can lose in this situation. They truly have a gem that they're trying to get rid of to get more draft picks in a roster that desperately needs more players. A third-round pick would be great. A 4th round would be great still. And that's where I really think that Milton's value should fall, is within that 4th round pick range. I think any team would be more willing to give up a 4th than a 3rd at this point. And here are 5 teams to take a look at that will likely be interested in adding Joe Milton: the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Giants, New Orleans Saints, and the Los Angeles Rams. Out of all those teams, my personal favorite of the group is the Los Angeles Rams. And here's why. The Rams are a team that I look at and think they have an elite coach. They have a probably Hall of Fame quarterback already there who is near the end of his tenure. He signed a 2-year extension, and that's Matthew Stafford. After those 2 years, we don't know. He's 37 years old. We don't know his future. And Jimmy G is there as well, and we all know what Jimmy G is as a football player. Sean McVay has gotten the most out of quarterbacks in their time in Los Angeles. We've seen him revive the likes of a guy like Baker Mayfield when he stopped there. I think getting McVay a talented piece like Joe Milton, let him develop even more over these next 2 years, see what you have in him. Matthew Stafford hasn't necessarily been the most healthy quarterback in the NFL over his career either. He could potentially fill in as a starter. And then you get to Milton, age 27, entering his prime. I think at that point, with Sean McVay's tutelage, a little bit learning under Stafford, as well as the best case scenario for Joe Milton in terms of these other teams. The Saints have Derek Carr. That'd be a good guy to learn under the Giants. I'm not sure their quarterback direction. I think if they add a veteran and decide not to draft a guy, I think that's where Milton makes sense. The Browns, it sounds like they are all out on drafting a quarterback right now. I know they added Kenny Pickett. Who knows what their situation is going to look like next season. And then the Steelers, I think if they do add a guy like Aaron Rodgers, they're picking in the later half of the 1st round. I think they could see an upside guy like Joe Milton. We saw them do it for Justin Fields last year. I think it makes sense for them to potentially check in the market as well. All in all, though, guys, Milton is a controversial prospect, but the talent is there. He has the talent of some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, those type of talent levels. But it's the inconsistencies on the field that ultimately make him a question mark, and the lack of tape. 45 games in 7 years is not ideal, and it's definitely concerning for a lot of teams. I truly think it's worth a 4th round pick, and it's definitely worth a call. And I think a guy like Sean McVay could absolutely tutelage this guy into becoming one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. We will see, though. What do you guys think? Can Joe Milton be a successful quarterback in the NFL in the right situation? If not, make sure you guys go check out the last video we just posted. It's Cooper's Cup's impact on the Seattle Seahawks. If not, hit that subscribe button for more Blitz Sports Media content, and I'll catch you guys next time.